A red letter N unfolds into a spectrum of colors.
A Netflix series. Tracy, shirtless and wearing handcuffs on one wrist, backs out of Jeff's apartment into the hallway. Jeff falls in the open doorway.
Help me! He tried to kill me! Help me!
Tracy runs away. Glenda comes out of her apartment. She locks eyes with Jeff as he stands. She hurries back inside. She secures the chain latch on her door, then leans heavily against it. She peers through her window blinds. Tracy runs down the street. Glenda straightens. She looks through her peephole, then eyes her phone across the room. Her eyes glisten under her tensed brow. Her features twitch as she blinks rapidly. She pinches the bridge of her nose. Glenda slowly unlatches her door. She opens it a crack and peers into the hallway. She steps out, leaving the door ajar. With her hair wrapped and wearing an oversized shirt, Glenda trudges toward Jeff's closed door. Sweat gleams on her face. She leans toward the peephole. Light glowing in the peephole suddenly goes dark. Glenda covers her mouth and retreats. Back in her apartment, Glenda latches the door. She presses her face against the door. As she dials her phone, Glenda looks out her window. Outside, a white cop lets Tracy out of a police car. Glenda straightens. She moves the phone from one hand to the other and shifts her weight. She eyes her door.
All over the city. I'm telling you, this is the guy who's killing me. God is my witness.
Glenda eyes the vent on her wall. In his apartment, Jeff lies face down on the floor, pinned by one of the cops. He stares off blearily.
What I did, I should be dead.
Later, cops and residents fill the hallway.
What did Jeff Dahmer do? Because I know he was doing something.
Man, clear it out.
Make a path.
Coming through.
Glenda watches as cops escort a handcuffed Jeff down the hallway. He briefly locks eyes with her, then stares at the floor as he passes. She keeps her eyes fixed on him.
I knew you was up to something, Jeff Dahmer, and I called y'all, and I told you over and over 1,000,000 times that something was going on, and you know what you did? Y'all did nothing. Nothing.
Well, y'all motherfuckers knew?
Tracy eyes a cop.
You knew?
Sir, calm down.
You knew this motherfucker was killing people?
What y'all finding it?
Images flash of skulls, tools, and a bloodstain.
And what y'all gonna do about this young man? You see, he obviously needs to be taken care
Ma'am,
of.
this is police business. If you just go back inside.
I called y'all for months. For months. And now you finally came. And it's too late. Y'all came too late.
On a new day,
Some neighbors here had complained of a stench for almost a year, but they never imagined what might be causing it. Milwaukee police were led to an apartment in this building after they were flagged down by...
a crowd of reporters, cops, and others fill the street outside. At her window, Glenda straightens and closes her blinds.
15 human bodies, including 3 heads.
She starts to make coffee. She opens her door to find a cop.
Ma'am, you have to leave the premises. We're asking all residents to evacuate for our investigation and their safety.
What? Wait a minute. Where exactly am I supposed to go?
The entire building's a crime scene. There's toxic chemicals in here that could be a hazard.
Wait. How many did you find? Bodies.
Copy that. Ma'am, just pack your things and vacate the building, okay?
Glenda packs.
On to the news desk. Ann? Thanks, Brian. In the news this morning, on a serious note, police in Wisconsin this morning are investigating a grisly discovery in a Milwaukee apartment, the discovery of pieces of bodies. Police found parts of as many as 15 human bodies inside. Police were led
Glenda moves from her bedroom to her living room and picks up a TV remote.
Police are questioning the 31-year-old man who lives in the apartment. The Milwaukee newspaper is reporting the man had...
She shuts her window. Elsewhere, 3 men stand with a tan-skinned man in a suit, Police Chief Areola.
So far, we've identified 11 different bodies. Though from what Dahmer's told our detectives, we think there's more.
How many more?
Not sure. 16, 17 maybe.
Jesus.
Crime scenes flash.
Apparently he killed his first victim in Ohio.
The bodies in the apartment. Have we been able to establish their identities?
Well, based on the condition of the victims, we thought it might take a while. But Dahmer's kept more than just their bodies. He kept their IDs. One of his victims was only 14 years old.
Christ. This case get any worse?
Later, on the phone with the mayor, Norquist.
What?
So you're saying that one of the victims had actually managed to escape, and 2 of your officers escorted him back to Dahmer's?
Looks that way. The Laotian boy. We're still investigating the matter, but apparently a concerned citizen tried to intervene and save the boy, but she was ignored. Glenda Cleveland.
I hesitate to ask.
She's black.
God damn it. Are you planning to discipline these 2 officers?
I'd like to finish our internal investigation first.
Well, can't you at least suspend them to give the public the impression that you're actually doing something about this?
Mayor, I have to tread carefully. I've been chief in Milwaukee 2 years, but the cops here still consider me an outsider. And the police union tends to protect its own.
Okay, and I would advise you to protect your own ass and mine before this becomes more than just a story about a deranged serial killer.
Understood.
Have you notified the victims' families yet?
Or about to.
Later, detectives Murphy and Kennedy go to various homes. They approach the front door of a large white house. On the porch, they exchange a look. Kennedy rings the doorbell. A young black woman, Rita Isabel, answers.
Yes?
Afternoon, I'm Detective Kennedy. This is Detective Murphy. Are you related to Errol Lindsay?
Yes, Tony is my son.
Shirley stands at her front door. The detectives arrive at the Laotian family's home.
Hi. We're with the Milwaukee Police Department.
What's going on?
At the first house.
These men are with the police.
At Shirley's.
Is he?
With the Laotian family. Mother, it's the police.
Can we speak to your mother and father?
Oh, it's about Conrack.
May we come in?
Father, what? Is he okay?
It's about Conrack.
Is he okay? Mr. and Mrs. Sinthasamphone, I'm sorry to say that your son is dead.
Y'all found Errol's body with those other ones, didn't you?
It appears he was murdered by a man named Jeffrey Dahmer.
That man molested my brother Somsock. He was supposed to be in jail. Knew about him.
What? No, we only found out...
Conrack was only 14 years old.
Can we come in, ma'am?
No, you may not.
At an office, Glenda works in one of many cubicles. A white woman, Susan, approaches.
Glenda, can I have a word?
They sit at a table in a break room.
Mr. Lively, he saw the newspaper article where you gave an interview.
I'm surprised he saw it. They buried it on page 27.
Others sit at nearby tables.
Did the article upset him?
Yes, it did. This is a very conservative business with a very conservative clientele. And in the article, well, what you said was very upsetting.
Elsewhere.
Well, when the police arrived on the scene, they believed Jeff over my daughter and my niece who called 911. Jeff told him this child was his 19-year-old lover. And they believed it, even though the baby ain't had on no clothes, couldn't speak a full sentence, and was obviously drugged up. Baby, can you tell us your name? I don't know what grown person in their right mind could have looked at that baby and not think he was in danger, no less a man. But I couldn't get Get that baby off my mind. And I called the police over and over to check on his welfare and make sure he was okay. They just told me they had it handled.
Mr. Lively is worried about the press. Our clients would not like that kind of attention.
In the break room.
And Glenda,
Yes.
there have been some complaints about you from some of the other ladies who work in your division.
Glenda shifts her gaze.
They see you crying sometimes at your desk.
I try not to cause a scene. I do. I try. You gotta understand that. I get up, I excuse myself. I go to the restroom for a private moment when those feelings rise up.
Glenda wipes her eyes in a restroom.
This is becoming an HR issue. And while I personally understand, I do.
Do you?
In the break room, Susan straightens. Glenda licks her lips, then purses them.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I just feel the pressure of the situation.
Susan nods, then leans closer.
About your neighbor who made the zombies. Did you ever see the zombies? I'm just curious.
Glenda stares. In the restroom, her face crumples. A bearded black man in a suit, Jacob, rides in a car.
We have an update for you on the case of Jeffrey Dahmer, the 31-year-old suspect involved in a chain of grisly murders throughout Milwaukee. We are learning that Dahmer would drug and asphyxiate...
Reverend Jackson, I have to confess, I have my reservations about you getting involved in this case.
An older man beside him looks up.
Go on, son. Speak your mind.
Well, Rodney King, Latasha Harlins, Central Park 5. I understand how those cases fit into our civil rights agenda. But this Jeffrey Dahmer dude, the gay serial killer who eats people,
who it appears mostly targeted young black and brown men.
I feel terrible for the victims and their families, of course. But it doesn't really feel like our fight.
Why? Because some of the victims might have been gay?
You told me to speak my mind, Reverend.
It may not look like it, but this Dahmer case, it is our fight. If you want to slay a dragon, son, you got to attack it from all angles. And injustice is one hell of a beast.
In his office, Mayor Norquist meets with the older man, Reverend Jesse Jackson, and Jacob, along with Areola and another cop, both in dress uniform.
I was shocked by the Dahmer murders like everyone else. But the more I learned about the case, the more I realized it was not just a gruesome horror show. It's a metaphor for all the social ills that plague our nation. Bad policing, underserved communities, the low value we assign our young black and brown men, especially if they happen to be gay. The fact that black and brown folks still don't have a voice, and when we do speak up, we're too often ignored. And I'm hoping that as the leaders of this fine city, that both of you men would take swift, immediate action to address and redress these wrongs.
Reverend Jackson, we understand your reasons for coming here. But to be honest, we're worried your presence may complicate our own efforts.
How so?
The Dahmer case, I mean, what he did to those young men and that 14-year-old boy.
Norquist shakes his head.
And the whole city's on edge. And we are doing our best to address the community's concerns.
But it's a delicate situation. Our cops have been getting rocks thrown at them. We nearly had a riot break out the other night. The last thing that we need right now.
What? A national civil rights leader shining a light on your police department's incompetence?
For an outside agitator to further inflame racial tensions.
With all due respect, Chief, I think we're well past that.
A crowd protests outside of Jeff's building.
You got black and brown folks angry at the police, calling for justice.
Jackson stands at a vigil.
You got a city that's been traumatized by these horrific murders, yes, but also years of poverty, high unemployment, discrimination, police brutality.
Glenda stands at the vigil.
Yes, Chief. I did come to Milwaukee to be an agitator, to hold you gentlemen accountable and demand an end to this pattern of racism and neglect. I also came here to do whatever's in my power as a leader, as a Christian, to help this broken community heal. So, like it or not, gentlemen, you're not getting rid of me.
Norquist glares.
Now, I assume you spoke with Glenda Cleveland.
Areola shifts his gaze.
Actually, no, not yet.
Jackson looks away.
Can you at least tell me where I might find her?
In a motel room, Glenda opens the door.
Miss Cleveland.
She gapes at Reverend Jackson.
Yeah. And I know who you are, Reverend Jackson. I voted for you. Twice.
He nods.
May I come in?
Others watch from a balcony.
Yes. Yes.
Inside.
So, I hear you're a data entry clerk.
Yes, that is right, Reverend. I've been doing it since my daughter Sandra was a baby.
How old is Sandra?
Just turned 18. It's crazy, because I was that age when I had her.
My mama had me at 16.
In Greenville, right?
Jackson nods.
I told you. I voted for you twice.
You remind me of my mother. Strong, resilient.
Glenda grins.
Now, I know a Southern girl when I hear one. Where are you from originally?
Mississippi. A little farming town called Carthage. But as good as it was, I knew I wanted better for Sandra. So, after I had her, we moved to Milwaukee in '73. Been just the two of us here ever since.
Glenda takes off her glasses.
Lord knows, it ain't always been easy.
I read your interview. How you try to save that Laotian boy.
It ain't right, Reverend. And you know, the police still ain't called to talk to me.
I'm aware. It's inexcusable.
Here I am being pestered by reporters from France. Paris, France. And the cops right here in Milwaukee ain't interested in what I got to say. It's like our people don't count. No matter what we do or how loud we shout. They never listen.
Glenda lowers her gaze, her brow tense.
I'll listen.
She looks up at the Reverend. Her lips part. Jackson regards her evenly. Glenda's eyes shift.
Well, after the Conorack incident, things with Jeff got really bad.
At home at night, Glenda watches TV, smoking a cigarette. She eyes the vent. She stubs out the cigarette and moves toward the vent, gazing up at it. At Jeff's door, the light in the peephole goes dark. Glenda stands facing it. Jeff opens it a crack.
Glenda, hi.
Jeff, sorry to bother you, but there's a smell coming from your apartment.
A smell?
A stench. Came through the vent so strong, I almost threw up.
Oh. I'm sorry. Might have been the barbecue. I was trying out a new way to cook it. I guess I left the meat set out too long.
Glenda briefly lowers her eyes. Jeff glances aside.
You can smell it through your vent?
Like he was in the next room.
Well, I promise I'll throw it out first thing. And I won't cook it like that again. I really am sorry.
Wait,
Good
Jeff,
night.
it's every...
Jeff shuts the door. Glenda purses her lips. On a new day, Glenda enters the building through a heavy gate on the front door. She starts lugging a full rolling cart upstairs. A young black man with a thin mustache approaches from behind.
Can I take those?
Get
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm Dean. I just moved in. 308.
Glenda, 215. Sorry I snapped on you. You gotta be careful in this neighborhood.
Well, I'm a good guy. Scout's honor. May I?
Okay.
Okay.
At Glenda's.
And don't leave your door unlocked. We've had a string of robberies lately. Mostly addicts looking to score money for their next fix. And this crack is out of control. Most of the people in this building are good and decent. Now, you do got a few shady characters that you gotta look out for.
Well, I'll keep my eyes open. Thanks, Glenda. You have a good one.
You too, Dean.
Glenda starts to close her door, then stops.
Hey, you're the new guy, right?
Yeah, I'm Dean.
In the hallway.
Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Glenda eavesdrops from her door.
I've seen you around.
Have you now?
So, Dean, what kind of stuff you into?
Jeff gives Dean a cigarette.
Well, I'm into building monster models.
Monster models? That's a thing? Cool. Well, maybe I could bring some brewskis by your place and we could, build one together.
Glenda closes her eyes.
Brewskis?
A six-pack.
Sure, yeah, I'm down. 308.
Let me get your phone number.
Sure.
Glenda closes her door with a frown. At night, lights glow in windows on the front of the apartment. Inside, Glenda lies asleep in bed. She wakes and lifts her head. She looks out a window. Outside, Jeff throws a box into a dumpster. He staggers as he grabs something off the ground. In his apartment, Dean paints a figurine of Frankenstein's monster. He sets down a thin paintbrush, then looks through the peephole of his front door. He opens the door for Jeff.
Hey.
Hey.
So, I was thinking about grabbing a beer and a slice over at Sal's, if you, care to join?
Dean looks back at his figurine.
Unless you'd rather stay here with Frankenstein.
He can wait. Let me get my keys and shit.
Sure.
Dean steps away. Jeff remains at the door, eyeing the figurine. At Glenda's, a game show plays on the TV. She sets down a plate of food in the living room, then crosses to the windows. Outside, Jeff and Dean approach the building. She works her jaw and plants her fists on her hips. Later, she lies asleep in bed. Glenda wakes. She lifts her head. She sits up, then gets out of bed. Later, she holds a phone to her ear.
It wasn't my imagination. I definitely heard somebody screaming, and it was coming from Jeff Dahmer's apartment.
What do you want me to do, Miss Cleveland?
Your job. It's my 4th time calling. I want you to go over there and see what the hell he's up to. I am telling you, between the noises and the smells, something ain't right.
I can give him a warning about the noise complaint and the smells. But Mr. Dahmer's a good tenant.
Later.
Yeah, I called and I complained about him before. I think I spoke with an officer, Baznarak or Bowsiak or...
Yes, I see a record of the conversation. So what's the issue, ma'am?
A few minutes ago, I heard screaming coming from his apartment.
Screaming? Like an argument?
No, like somebody in pain.
Do you still hear it?
Glenda looks toward the vent.
No, it stopped. But, officer, can you please just send somebody out here to check it out?
I can send a unit to stop by his place tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Sir, tomorrow could be too late.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Unless it's an active situation, that's the best I can do.
Whenever I call y'all, you say the same thing. Or I'm gonna send somebody tomorrow, and nobody ever shows.
Glenda eyes an overstuffed mailbox in the building's lobby.
Thank you for your time.
The building manager, a thin black man, answers his door.
Miss Cleveland.
We need to talk.
At apartment 308.
Building manager.
Okay, see? This letter is postmarked 2 weeks ago. That's around the time I saw him talking to Jeff. He ain't picked up his mail since.
Mr. Vaughn?
We coming to drop off your mail, Dean.
The manager looks at Glenda.
See? Open the door.
Glenda, the guy's not here. I can't just let you into his apartment.
At Glenda's.
Take a good whiff. Does that smell right to you?
And you didn't cook anything strange?
No, I'm telling you, it's next door. It's coming from this vent.
The manager, Sopa, steps toward the vent.
Yeah. Okay.
And he keeps making excuses. Oh, it's a meat that went bad, and then nothing happens. And then I complain, and nobody does anything. And I know I'm not the only one complaining, sir.
Yes, I know. I was going
Pamela Bass, she complained about the smell. Pat from across the hall, she complained to you, and ain't nobody listening to us. It's gotten so bad that me and my daughter can't stand to sleep in our own home. Smells so bad most nights, she goes and stays at her boyfriend's. Right now, I got the fan going and the window open, and I still can barely stand to be in here. So I am asking you, Mr. Princewell, to please evict him.
In the hallway, Sopa approaches Jeff's door, gripping a folded-up paper. Jeff answers the door.
Mr. Dahmer?
He opens it wide, revealing a cleaner vacuuming.
You know, you've been a good tenant. You pay your rent on time.
Sorry, what?
Could you just step outside, please?
Jeff sways on his feet. He glances toward the man vacuuming, then steps outside with Sopa.
I'm sorry, but I gotta give you this.
Jeff takes the paper. He turns it over in his hand, keeping it folded.
Okay. It's an eviction notice. I'm sorry.
What? What are you talking about?
No. Come on. It's the smell, Jeff. I keep getting complaints.
Well, that's why I got a cleaning crew in. It cost me $49.
Well, okay, but it doesn't matter. You have 30 days, okay? I'm sorry.
Come on, man. You know I just got fired today.
I'm sorry, Jeff. People have been complaining. You're not the only person I got to look out for, okay?
Jeff swats at his door, then stumbles backwards against it.
Hey, Silva, look, I'm sorry. It's just like, I never meant to cause you in trouble.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I really am.
Sopa walks away. Jeff's mouth opens and closes. He sways with heavy-lidded eyes.
It was Glenda, wasn't it? She's the one who complained.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
Sopa departs from the hallway. In her apartment, Glenda opens a magazine and puts her feet up on her coffee table. She puffs on a cigarette. She answers her door. Jeff stands outside.
Hey, Glenda.
She gapes.
Hi.
So listen, I just want to say I'm really sorry, okay? And if you take back the complaint, I promise I won't cook anymore.
No, Jeff. It's done. All right?
Wait, hold on. Can I come inside just for a sec?
Why?
Because I got a cleaning crew in today that cost me $49, which I don't have because I just got fired. So I want to see if I was still stinking up your place. Okay?
With her brow furrowed, Glenda looks back into her apartment. She faces Jeff with a frown.
Okay.
She steps aside. Jeff enters carrying a foil-wrapped tray. Glenda stays by the door, watching him. The door moves slowly back toward its frame, but remains open. Jeff eyes the vent.
See? Smells nice. Don't smell nothing.
Jeff looks around.
Is your daughter here?
Glenda eyes the foil-wrapped plate.
What is that?
Jeff holds it up.
That's your present.
What is it?
He sets it on the coffee table. The foil wraps around a square-shaped item on the plate. Jeff sits on the couch and looks at Glenda.
Are you gonna sit down, or are you just gonna stand there? Like what? You're scared of me.
I am not scared of you.
Well, come on, sit down then. Jeez, I got you something.
I'll sit down with you, but it ain't gonna change nothing. You getting evicted, and it ain't my problem.
Glenda sits in an armchair facing him.
I know, okay? I'm just trying to make peace here. Say I'm sorry.
She lowers her gaze. Jeff eyes the foil-wrapped plate.
She gonna open your gift?
He picks up the plate and removes the foil. He sets it back down with a smirk. A sandwich rests on the plate, chunks of white meat between two thick slices of white bread. Glenda's forehead tenses. Jeff points at it.
It's a sandwich.
Glenda nods, her lips pursed.
Thank you. I'll eat it later.
Oh. Eat it now. I used to be a butcher. I made that just for you. Go ahead.
I don't know what's in that.
It's just meat.
What kind of meat?
It's like a, pulled pork.
Glenda stares.
I'm not eating that.
Why? You a vegetarian?
No, I'm not a vegetarian. But I'm not eating a sandwich that my neighbor made when his apartment been smelling like a dead raccoon's ass stinking up my house since the day he moved in.
Okay.
Jeff works his jaw and leans back on the couch.
Fine. Try to do a nice thing, you know? You're just like my mom. My grandma, too.
Glenda tilts her head.
Telling on me when I ain't done nothing wrong.
I ain't your mama, Jeff.
Take back the complaint.
I told you. It's done.
No, it isn't. It doesn't even smell in here. Take back the complaint. I made you a sandwich.
Glenda leans forward and points at Jeff.
What do you do in there? Huh?
Where?
In that damn apartment. The smells, the power tools going all hours of the night.
I'm just building something.
Well, what about the screaming?
What's screaming?
I hear screaming coming from your apartment.
Sometimes I have nightmares.
What about that little Asian boy?
I don't know. We broke up.
And what about Dean Vaughn? You was talking to him in the hallway, then I never saw him after that.
Jeff swallows, then shrugs.
Tell you what, you tell me where he is, I'll take back the complaint.
I don't know where he went.
All right then. You moving out?
Glenda stands.
Eat the sandwich. I made it for you.
I'll eat it later.
I want to see you try it. See if you like it.
Glenda licks her quivering lips.
Get out of my apartment.
Jeff glares.
Eat it.
Glenda briefly grits her teeth.
Get out of my house.
Jeff turns toward the open door. Glenda lifts her chin. Jeff stands and glares at her. Glenda shifts her weight, keeping her eyes fixed on him. Jeff smirks.
Okay.
The smirk hardens back into a glare. Glenda watches as he moves to the door. Jeff glances back at her as he exits. At night, Glenda dozes on her couch. The sandwich remains on her coffee table. Glenda wakes. She looks out her window. Jeff approaches the building with a skinny, light-skinned man. Later, Glenda's living room lies dark. Glenda enters, flips on the lights, and approaches the vent. She recoils. She grabs her phone and moves away from the vent.
Hello, this is Glenda Cleveland. Can you send an officer to the Oxford Apartments?
What's the emergency?
Well, I think it's a fight going on next door, and somebody is either being hurt or killed.
Can you go make sure?
What? No, I can't. I said I think somebody is being killed. I ain't going next door.
We'll send a car over.
Wait, you're not even gonna ask me the apartment number?
Ma'am, I said we'd send somebody.
Y'all always say you're gonna send somebody, and nobody ever shows. I done called y'all like 50 times.
I need you to lower your voice, okay? And if you keep calling us all the time, how are we gonna know when it's an emergency? 911 is a resource, okay?
I am saying somebody is being killed. Do you get that?
Later, Glenda lies flat on her back in bed, her hands clasped over her chest. She rubs her thumb over the fingers on her other hand. Wide awake, her eyes glisten. Glenda squeezes her eyes shut. She opens them. Her eyes dart back and forth. She holds her blanket tightly, her clasped hands close to her chin. She shuts her eyes, then opens them again. Glenda gets out of bed. She moves slowly towards her darkened living room, then stops in the entryway. She moves toward the vent. Glenda turns away, covering her mouth. In her motel room, Glenda licks her lips and looks down. Sitting across from her, Reverend Jackson briefly looks aside.
You knew he was a monster.
Glenda nods, then looks up.
I know. But nobody heard me.
Jackson sits forward.
I hear you, Glenda. I hear you. And finally, others have too. Tomorrow, Chief Ariola is suspending the 2 officers who ignored you about the boy. I'll be honest, it's just the first step in a marathon. It's nearly impossible to hold cops accountable. But this first step wouldn't have happened without you, Glenda. Your voice is gonna make a difference.
With tear-filled eyes, Glenda shifts her gaze. She stands and covers her mouth. Jackson puts his arms around her.
Let it out now. Yeah.
She turns toward him and leans into his embrace. Outside, a black sedan rests in the parking lot. Audio description provided by International Digital Center. Written by Stephen Christopher. Voiced by Amanda Bruton. Credits. Directed by Jennifer Lynch. Written by Ian Brennan and Janet Mock and David McMillan. The title appears. Dahmer. Monster. The Jeffrey Dahmer Story. Created by Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan. Starring Evan Peters and Niecy Nash. Executive producers Ryan Murphy, Ian Brennan, Alexis Martin Woodall, Eric Covton, Evan Peters, Janet Mock. Co-executive producers Scott Robertson, Sarah Stellwagen, Tanasi Popa. Supervising producer David McMillan. Consulting producer Rashad Robinson. Producers Todd Nenninger, Lou Eyrich, Todd Kubrak, Riley Smith, Regis Kimball, Richard Jenkins. Produced by Matthew Hart. Co-producer Scott James. Associate producer Kathia Sanchez Aldana. Director of photography Jason McCormick. Production designer Matthew Flood Ferguson. Edited by Curtis Thurber. Score composed and performed by Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. Casting by Robert J. Ulrich, CSA. Eric Dawson, CSA. Carol Kritzer, CSA. Copyright 2022 Netflix. Logos. Prospect Films. Ryan Murphy Television.
A red letter N unfolds into a spectrum of colors. A red letter N unfolds into a spectrum of colors.
A Netflix series. Lionel sits alone in a police interview room. He wipes his eyes. He puts on his glasses and stands. In a sunny office, Detective Murphy turns. Detective Kennedy waves in Lionel.
Could I see him?
Murphy looks at Kennedy. In another room, Lionel sits alone at a table. He stands as guards escort in a shackled Jeff, wearing a blue jumpsuit. They stand facing each other as the guards leave. Lionel looks his son up and down. He hugs Jeff. They separate.
Guess we're really done it this time, huh?
Lionel stares.
Sorry, Dad.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead. Take a seat.
Lionel sits.
Because we got, I gotta...
Jeff shuffles into his chair.
I don't know where to begin.
Jeff looks at his father, then turns away.
How's Grandma?
Oh, she's good. She sends her love.
Should I get around to fixing that AC?
I don't know what to say.
Okay. Well, neither do I.
I didn't realize how sick you were. You need help.
Okay.
No, but I mean, you know, like from a professional. Because I still think you can be treated. You know, because I have to hope you can get better. Because I just...
Lionel throws up his hands.
I've just been trying to think how this all happened. Because I didn't raise you to be like this.
Yeah.
So why do you think why'd you do it?
I don't know.
Okay, well, see, now that's not gonna cut it.
I'm sorry.
Well, Jeff,
Lionel touches Jeff's knee.
I don't need you to say sorry.
He wipes his nose and adjusts his glasses.
I need to know why. Because there needs to be some responsibility here. What you've done to the family, to Grandma, to Sherry and me. I mean, do you have any idea how this all started?
I don't know. I mean, I've been thinking about it a lot. You know? Because I used to... Well, remember when you used to take me to go and find roadkill and we'd cut them up?
Oh, no. You're not gonna lay this on me, no.
Okay.
It's not my fault. I didn't do this. I was a good dad to you.
I know.
I mean, what I was doing was I was showing concern for my son who finally showed an interest in something.
Okay, Dad.
You know, I mean, what you did, I didn't teach you how to do that.
No.
You hear me?
Okay.
Jeff keeps his eyes on the floor.
I didn't do this.
Elsewhere, a boxy tan sedan pulls into a spot in a parking lot. The driver, Joyce, blows out smoke.
It's Joyce Dahmer. Let's move. There she is!
Several reporters flock to her.
Mrs. Dahmer.
Let me talk to you about your son, Jeffrey. How do you feel about the crimes he's been accused of?
Mrs. Dahmer.
Oh, please leave me alone.
You know why your son ate people?
Why does he seem to target Black and Latino gay men? Do you think these were hate crimes? I said leave me alone. He's responsible for it. My name is not Dahmer!
In a clinic, Joyce retrieves a file from a receptionist. She takes a hesitant step, then goes into her office and shuts the door. A young black man with light-colored hair sits on the near side of her desk. She goes behind it and looks at the file.
Isaac Richards.
Yes.
Joyce sits.
I'm Joyce Flint.
She sets aside her purse.
I have The results of your HIV test.
Isaac nods. His chest heaves as Joyce opens the file.
You're negative.
Isaac brings his hands to his face.
Jesus.
He hangs his head over Joyce's desk. Joyce reaches across the desk and takes one of his hands. Joyce bows her head as her face slightly crumples. Isaac looks at her. He knits his brow and swallows.
Ma'am, why are you crying?
It's just my...
She meets his gaze.
I'm just so happy you don't have to give your mother any bad news.
At night, a pendulum swings under a cuckoo clock in a dark house. Shari steps out of a doorway. Lionel dozes on a couch.
Sweetheart?
He wakes as she turns on a light.
Lionel, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm up early.
You never came to bed.
She moves closer.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
She turns on a lamp.
Honey, we need to talk.
She sits beside him.
Honey, you have to sleep. This isn't healthy.
Well, my schedule's all messed up.
Well, you should be using this time just to rest.
I can't rest, Shari.
Then we need to see a doctor and get you some sleeping pills.
Jeez.
Because 5 nights in a row of not sleeping is not healthy.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, more pills. That's just what this family needs. You do know that pills are what started this whole thing. You know that.
Just calm down.
How many pills do you think she was on when she was pregnant with him? Thousands. She was sleeping pills, sedatives, seizure medication. She didn't give him a fucking chance.
Come on, you can't blame Joyce for this.
The fuck I can't!
Lionel stands.
Because it's her fault. She wasn't a mother. She never even held him.
Stop
She
screaming.
scared the shit out of him. And then she just left. She got in her car and she drove away and she left that kid in that house all summer.
Well, where were you that summer, Lionel?
Lionel sinks into a chair.
Oh, God. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Oh, hey, we are in this together.
I should have checked up on him. I didn't check up on him.
But you didn't know.
He's got my genes, Shari. Half of that boy is me. And I've had thoughts like him, I think. I used to. I used to try to make explosives. And I would use fireworks and I would tie a little army guy to them. And one day I brought a homemade bomb to school. And I threw it out the goddamn window, for Christ's sake.
Oh, honey, that's not the same thing.
No, listen.
Holding his hands, Shari sits facing him.
I had fantasies like him, too, I think. There was a neighborhood girl, and she lived on our block. And I tried to hypnotize her because I don't know.
Lionel shakes his head, then looks at Shari.
To get her to do whatever I wanted. And I used to sit in church.
Lionel stares downward.
And think what it would be like to kill someone, to murder them.
He looks at Shari.
And I had nightmares about it. For a while, I did. But it wasn't about how I killed someone. Because it was about how I'd already done it. Knowing that I'd killed someone and not knowing what to do.
But you didn't. You know, there is nothing wrong with your genes, honey. I mean, just look at David. He's got half your DNA, and he's a nice, normal kid. Wouldn't you say? Yeah.
Lionel cracks a grin. He kisses Sherry's hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a new day, cops and reporters crowd the front lawn of Catherine's house. A line of police tape surrounds it. Lionel drives toward it, moving his head rapidly as he takes in the scene. Lionel drives past the house. By the driveway, an investigator carries evidence past a cop standing guard. Lionel ducks under the police tape and heads for a side door.
Sir, you're not allowed to be here. You can't go in there, sir!
Inside, Lionel approaches a disheveled Catherine by the stairs.
Jeff! He's probably asleep upstairs. It's so early.
Leave her alone.
Sir, you
please.
cannot be in here.
She's my mother.
Get him out of here.
You're scaring her. You have no right to be
This is a crime scene, sir. Your son killed people in this house, Mr. Dahmer. You understand that?
You have no right to be
He's cooperating with us. You know that, right?
Look, she has dementia. You come in here, you start going through her stuff, she's going to have a nervous
Jeff!
breakdown.
You come down
Come on,
here.
please. Just let me put her in her room. We'll be out of your way. Please, please. Come on.
In her room, Catherine plays cards on the bed.
There's that queen.
Lionel looks out the window.
Lionel?
He joins Catherine.
Oh, yeah.
Cards rest in several piles on the bed.
Okay. Oh.
Lionel moves a card from one pile to another.
Oh.
He flips one over from his hand, then sets it aside.
Not your move, Ma.
Elsewhere, Reverend Jackson leads a large march.
Today, the city of Milwaukee is hurting.
Shirley holds his arm.
Jeffrey Dahmer's heinous crimes have not only shocked the nation, they've inflicted a painful and devastating wound on this community.
Families of other victims march with them.
Now, some folks have asked me, Reverend, why are you going out to Milwaukee? Dahmer's been caught. Aren't you just stirring up more division?
Jackson addresses a packed church.
For those folks, I say, I come here today not to sow division, but to call for accountability.
Tracy sits with Shirley.
Dahmer's crimes weren't committed in a vacuum. Many people, including officers of the law, turned a blind eye, which is why he was able to do what he did for so long.
Cops sit behind Jackson.
But you're lucky you've got a strong leader in Police Chief Areola. The chief told me he's planning to launch a thorough investigation into what went wrong, especially that incident involving that young boy, Conoric Sentasaphone.
Conorac's family sits in the audience.
But let me be clear. We are not content to simply listen to words, comforting words. Words like healing, cooling down, coming together. Those are all code words that mean exactly the same thing. Let's sweep this under the rug.
Areola glances at another cop.
We will not be satisfied. We will not rest until the conditions no longer exist that would allow someone like Jeffrey Dahmer to murder 17 young men, many of them black and brown. We will not rest until justice prevails for all citizens in this city. We will not rest until empty words are replaced with decisive action. We will not rest. We will not rest. We will not rest.
Areola eyes a clapping official. Later, Officer Balsarac and his partner Gabrish stand in Areola's office.
This isn't fair, Chief. You can't suspend us. We did nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong. You returned an underage boy back to a serial killer that would eventually kill him. You didn't check his identification or his age. You ignored witnesses. You didn't do a background check on Dahmer.
We didn't see a need to do a background check on
Well,
Dahmer.
if you had, you would have seen that Dahmer was still on probation for child molestation.
Look, the kid looked like an adult, all right? We thought it was a boyfriend-boyfriend thing.
So I guess that's why you had to get deloused after the incident. That is what you told dispatch, isn't it? We have it on tape.
That was a joke.
Then there's Glenda Cleveland, Dahmer's neighbor. She claims that she called multiple times about him, but you ignored her request.
Whose side are you on, Chief?
This isn't about sides. Your boy screwed up, and I'm under a lot of pressure. I have the mayor, the community, Jesse Jackson, the whole damn country's breathing down my neck. I have to do something.
You're our police chief. You're supposed to have our backs.
You'll both be on paid leave until the panel finishes its investigation, after which we'll make a final determination.
Shaking their heads, the officers head for the door. Balserac turns back.
You know what? Our union reps are gonna fight this. You can't fire us, trust me. We will be here long after you.
They leave. At home, Lionel watches an interview with Tracy.
Did you think that Jeffrey Dahmer was going to eat you?
Yeah. I did. Said he was gonna eat my heart.
Shari sits beside Lionel.
Harrowing stuff. His name is Tracy Edwards, the man who was almost Jeffrey Dahmer's final victim. Thank you, Tracy, for telling your story. Our next guest is a childhood friend of Jeffrey Dahmer's who agreed to come on the show on condition of anonymity. And he's got a story that's a Geraldo exclusive. We'll call him Nick. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I understand you had a sexual relationship with Jeffrey Dahmer. How did you meet him?
We were on the yearbook staff together.
Jeff wasn't on the yearbook staff.
And where did this sexual activity take place?
At his house.
Did you meet his family?
Oh, yeah. He had a stepmother who was like, she was like a stepmother from hell, screaming at him all the time.
It's just all lies.
Dahmer's second wife, Sherry.
And he said to me, he told me that he was sexually molested by his father.
Lionel gets up.
I'm not watching this.
Nick, Jeffrey Dahmer told...
Well, that's not true.
No,
Lionel.
it's not true. None of it's true.
Well, sweetheart, what can you do?
I don't know. I don't know. I gotta do something.
He shifts his weight.
What?
In a prison visitation room, Lionel sets down magazines with Jeff as the cover story.
You're on the cover of Newsweek and People magazine.
Sat across a metal table, Jeff takes them. A balding white man in a suit sits beside Lionel.
Wow.
Jeff looks at the covers.
Okay.
He raises an eyebrow.
You think I could take these with me? Just to read?
No, you can't.
Jeff eyes the balding man, Gerald, then drops the magazines.
What do they say?
Well, what do they say? It's not good, Jeff. They're saying you're the Milwaukee cannibal. People want to kill you. They want you dead.
Jeff looks down.
Well, fine. I want that too.
No, you don't.
Wisconsin doesn't have the death penalty.
Well, they're talking about bringing it back, though. Because of me, right?
No, Jeff. Just get that out of your head. No. Look, it doesn't help anybody for you to spend the rest of your life in prison. Okay? You need help.
And there's really only one way we can do that.
That's right, yeah. For you to get the help you need so we can understand all this, we have to convince the judge that you're insane, Jeff.
Lionel straightens slightly.
But I'm not insane.
Well, at the time of the killings, then.
No, I wasn't then either.
Oh, gee, Jeff. When you kill people, you cut them up. You had sex with them. You had to stop dismembering them so you could masturbate on them.
But I wasn't crazy. It was just like a compulsion.
Right. Okay. So you had a compulsion, which means you couldn't stop.
Yeah. Jeff, come on. Come on, you talked about demon. You said that you were possessed, and you said that you'd wake up and you'd remember what you did.
Because I was blackout drunk, Dad. That's why I didn't remember some stuff. But I knew what I was doing. Didn't want to, but couldn't help myself. I'm not insane.
No, Jeff, no.
Lionel glances at Gerald.
You're not going to say that in court. You're not. Because we got something now, okay? We got a legal precedent. There's a previous case that's it's very similar to yours, and it wasn't too far from here. What this guy did, it's just very similar.
It was a while ago, back when I was a kid. This was in Plainfield.
November 16th, 1957. The owner of a hardware store. She disappears. No one knows where she is. Her son tells the police that a man by the name of Ed Gein had been there the evening before.
In a flashback.
So they go to his house.
At night, 2 cop cars pull up to a house.
Nobody's there. So they walk around the back and find a shed.
The cops find a decapitated body hanging upside down, split open down the middle.
Jesus Christ. And there's the woman's body, all cut up, hanging from the rafters. So they arrest him. He doesn't say a thing.
In a jail cell.
30 hours straight, he just sits there.
A white man stares off.
Finally, he pipes up.
Cops watch him.
I'd like an apple pie and a slice of cheese.
And then he starts talking. They search the house. They find the woman's head in a burlap sack, and there's just body parts everywhere.
Human bones lie in a drawer.
Bowls made out of people's skulls. He had skulls on his bedposts. He upholstered his chairs with human skin.
And just like you, Jeff, you know, you said you tried to dig up a body once.
Yeah, just once.
Yeah, well, it turns out this guy, he did it like 30, 40 times digging up bodies.
Oh, wow.
They looked in the coffins. They were empty.
And he went to a kind of a daze when he did these things, and then he would kind of wake up and he couldn't remember what happened.
Did he have sex with the bodies he dug up?
Okay, Jeff, here. Ed Gein, okay. The point is, he killed a lot of people too, okay? And there's no denying that. But he entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity, and he didn't spend the rest of his life in prison. He spent the rest of his life in a hospital getting the psychiatric help that he needed. You see?
We can do the same thing for you, Jeff.
In the visitation room, Jeff looks aside and tightens his lips.
Well, that does sound familiar.
What?
I've read about him. You know, as a comic book, I read about him, I think.
Sorry, did you say a comic book?
Yeah, it was one of those Weird Tales ones or something. Spooky stuff. I remember the cover, I think.
Outside the room.
A fucking comic book. I mean, well, now we know where the fault lies, the whole culture.
Yeah.
Who writes a comic book like that? Yeah. I mean, that's something.
Mr. Dahmer, you've got to understand the weight of what it's like representing somebody like Jeff. We've got to stay focused here. We hold fast and stick with the insanity plea.
So we do that, do we still have to go through the whole trial?
Yeah, and I think we'll lean into it. We don't argue the murders aren't gruesome, they are. I think that helps our case.
In court.
The jury has hereby determined that Mr. Dahmer was of sound mind and not legally insane. With respect to all of the 15 counts of first-degree murder he's confessed to, which means his victims' families can rest assured that he will be sent to prison.
Joyce sits in the audience with her arms crossed. Shirley sits with her children.
Court shall recess till Monday, at which time victims' family members will be allowed to make impact statements to the court, and the defendant will be allowed to make a statement of his own before sentencing. Court is adjourned till Monday at 9 a.m.
Audience members rise, including families of the victims. Bailiffs escort Jeff away from the defendant's table. He glances toward Lionel, who sits beside Shari. Joyce watches from a few rows back. Lionel turns, briefly locking eyes with her. Joyce heads for the exit. She pauses in the doorway, then starts down a hallway. Lionel catches up.
So that's it? Huh? You're leaving? Huh?
Joyce whips around and marches up to Lionel. Shari stands beside him.
What do you want me to say, Lionel?
Well, I would like you to take some responsibility, maybe.
Lionel. Responsibility? What does that mean?
It's just what it means.
So you're saying this is my fault?
No, he's not.
Yeah, well, as of now, I'm taking the blame for this. Have you read what they've said about me? I mean, and I've not heard a word from you about the awful lies they're spreading about me.
Well, I don't know what the hell you did with them when I wasn't there.
Oh, is that right?
And you say I did this to him? Well, it is not my fault, you son of a bitch.
It's nobody's fault.
You think
it's not
that I
about
did this
who's
to
to
him when
blame.
you're
It's
cutting
sticking
up
together
roadkill with
as
him
a
in the
family.
fucking garage, Lionel?
Yeah, just walk away, Joyce. Just like you walked away from your son.
Lionel.
You still on those pills, huh? How many you fucking taking?
Lionel!
Huh?
Lionel, stop it!
People stare.
All right, I'm sorry. God, forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Lionel hugs Shari. Elsewhere, Joyce pulls up to the curb in front of a 2-story house with a covered porch. She glances at the house, then ashes a cigarette out of her window. She stands at the front door of the house. An older black woman with short hair answers. She glances around, then looks at Joyce.
May I help you?
Miss Strotter?
Yes.
I'm Joyce Flint.
I know who you are.
Is your daughter Dorothy here, Curtis's mother?
She's not. What is it you want, Miss Flint?
Well, first, let me just say how deeply, deeply sorry I am for what happened. For what my son did to your grandson, Curtis. I realize there's nothing I can say. It's unforgivable.
Why are you here, Miss Flint?
Miss Strotter regards Joyce with an even gaze.
I came here because I was hoping to speak to you or your daughter as a mother.
Miss Strotter swallows.
To ask if either of you might be willing to say something in court tomorrow on behalf of Jeff.
On behalf of Jeff?
That the judge might consider sending him to a mental facility and not to prison.
You want us to forgive your son? Ask the judge to forgive him?
No.
Miss Strotter's expression softens.
I feel for you, ma'am. Truly, I do. You want your truth as a mother to be heard. I understand that. But maybe now is time for you to listen to somebody else's truth. You understand?
In court, Conorak's father stands at a podium.
Let's hear the first impact statement.
ครอบครัวของเฮาได้เอาเครือเงื่อมาประเทศนี้
His eldest son stands with him.
My family and I came to this country by boat.
เฮามาบ่มีหยังแต่ว่าเฮามีความหวัง
We were poor, but we were hopeful.
เฮามีความหวังใน American Dream.
We believed in the American dream.
แต่ว่าความหวังกลายเป็นความฝันให้ที่สุด
The father glares at Jeff.
But now, we're living in a nightmare.
เพราะว่าเจฟฟรีย์ดามคนเดียว
And it's all because of Jeffrey Dahmer.
แล้วเอาลูกไส้คนรักไปเป็น
He robbed us of our son, Conrack.
แล้วเอาความฝันของเขาไป
He robbed us of our dream.
Lionel frowns behind Jeff. Shirley steps up to the podium, wearing a photo of Tony pinned to her jacket.
My name is Shirley Hughes, and I'm Tony Hughes' mother. I would like to say to Jeffrey Dahmer that he don't know the pain, the hurt, the loss, and the mental state he's put our family in. But I'd just like to read a poem that a good friend of my son's wrote. Why are you attacking me, Jeffrey? I thought you were my friend. Why am I a victim in your cruel and evil world? Look at the tears roll down my face. See that each one is a cry for help and realize that I want to live. What have I done to you to make you such a maniac, to make you such a devil?
Why did this happen to a person like Eddie?
A bearded black man stands at the podium.
He gave so much and asked for so little.
Various family members stand at the podium.
All he wanted was a chance to be himself.
A dark-haired, light-skinned woman.
When you killed my brother, you killed my mother and father. I beg you, Your Honor, don't let this man ever walk the streets or see daylight again.
A portly, curly-haired white man.
Good morning, Honor. My name is Donald Bradoff.
Donald adjusts his glasses.
For the Bradoff family. As much as love in our family closed, my mother gave 5 beautiful kids. We lost. He destroyed the baby of the family. And I hope you go to hell.
Jeff doesn't look up.
I love this world. You guys did a wonderful job. Bottom of my heart, thank to God, I got a lot of strength. Thank you all. God bless America.
I'll never get a chance again to tell him that I loved him.
A young black woman.
You took my mother's oldest grandchild from her. And for that, I can never forgive you.
Mom, I'm gone. I know there's a dragon piercing your heart day and night because of this. But yet I'm not far away.
Shirley signs.
2 fingers and 1 thumb means I love you in sign language. When you cry, Mom, place 1 teardrop outside your window ledge. And when I pass by, I'll exchange it for one of mine. And then I'll always be with you. 2 fingers and 1 thumb. Your son, Tony.
Shirley steps away from the podium. Rita Isabel enters from the back and marches up to the podium, scowling at Jeff. She wears a cardigan over a black t-shirt with large red text that reads, 100% black.
My name is Rita Isabel, and I'm the oldest sister of Errol Lindsay. Whatever your name is, Satan. I'm mad. This is how you act when you are out of control. Now, I don't want to ever have to see my mother go through this again. Never, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I hate you, motherfucker. I hate you. This is out of control. Don't fuck with me, Jeffrey. I'll kill you, goddammit. Look at me. Look at me, motherfucker.
Bailiffs restrain Rita.
Mr. Dahmer, before I impose sentence, I understand you have a statement you'd like to read?
Yes, Your Honor.
He moves to the center of the room, casting a gaze over the audience. He spots Glenda staring back from the back of the room, beside her daughter. She shifts in her seat. Jeff faces the judge. Glenda cranes her neck and shakes her head.
Your Honor, it is over now. This has never been a case of trying to get free. I didn't ever want freedom. Frankly, I wanted death for myself. This was a case to tell the world that I did what I did, not for reasons of hate. I hated no one. I knew I was sick or evil or both. Now I believe I was sick. The doctors have told me about my sickness, and now I have some peace. I know how much harm I have caused, and I tried to do the best I could after the arrest to make amends. But no matter what I did, I could not undo the terrible harm I have caused. My attempt to help identify the remains was the best that I could do, and that was hardly anything. I
I feel so bad for what I did to those poor families, and I understand their rightful hate.
Lionel stares off.
I know I will be in prison for the rest of my life.
He twitches slightly. The courtroom clears out.
We're here outside Milwaukee County Courthouse, where just moments ago, Judge Lawrence Graham sentenced serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer to 15 consecutive life terms in prison. 1 life term for each person he's accused of killing.
You all right, Mama?
In the hallway, Glenda turns to her daughter.
Yeah, I'm good. We got that bastard. We got him. And he ain't never getting out.
A bailiff escorts Lionel and Shari into an office where Jeff sits hanging his head, shackled in his orange jumpsuit. Another bailiff stands at the door. Jeff looks up at his father, then stands.
Guess I'm getting what's coming to me, huh?
Lionel hugs him.
It's okay, Dad. We tried our best.
Listen, I think we might have a few minutes, so there's something that I gotta tell you. Now, I've been looking everywhere to find out who's responsible for all this, blaming everybody except myself. And it's me. I'm the one to blame.
Dad, you don't have to say that.
Okay, shut up, Jeff. Please, just listen to me. Listen to me. It's me. I did this to you. All that stuff with the dead animals, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have showed you how to do that. And your fantasies about killing people and stuff, I should have made you feel like you could tell me about that stuff. You know? Because I had those same feelings.
Lionel grips the sleeves of Jeff's jumpsuit.
And I gave you that part of me.
Jeff remains stoic. Lionel's face crumples. He touches Jeff's cheeks.
And I never really helped you enough when you needed it. When you went to prison, I wrote a letter to the judge. I said, my son needs help, because I knew you did. But I just left it at that, and that wasn't enough. And I wasn't a good father. I wasn't, because I wasn't a good husband. And you didn't feel safe.
As a child, Jeff watches as Lionel leaves.
I left you alone. I can't believe that I left you alone.
Lionel wraps his arms around Jeff.
I'm so sorry I left you alone.
Time to go.
And, I'll never forgive myself. Okay, but I won't leave you again. I promise, son. I'll make it up to you. I'll visit you every week and I'll call.
The bailiffs escort Jeff away as Shari embraces Lionel. At home, Joyce sits alone, writing a letter.
I've known this was coming for a long time now.
She makes coffee.
There's so much I need to say.
She pulls her oven away from the wall.
But I find it impossible to put into words. Because it's all so horrible.
She separates the gas hose from the wall.
Words can't express the scale of my grief. When I try to take responsibility for the part I played in all of this, it is simply too painful to do so.
Joyce sips her coffee.
But denying I had any part in it is a comfort I can't allow myself. Because I know it isn't true.
She puts the letter in an envelope and licks the flap.
I failed you, Jeff. And I'm sorry I wasn't the mother you needed. And I am no longer willing to live with the guilt of that fact. To all of Jeff's victims, I cannot express to you the magnitude of my regret. So it's pointless to even try.
She kisses the envelope.
To my son David, please forgive me. You've been able to rise above all of this. And I'm sorry that I'm not able to. I love you and your brother.
She slumps at a table.
I tried my best.
The scene blurs. At home, Lionel uses a typewriter. Shari enters the room.
sweetheart?
Hold on. I'm in the middle of a chapter here. When Jeff was... Do you remember that Christmas before Jeff went in the Army?
Okay, but...
Just... Hang 1 second. Oh, you know, how did I not know that writing a book is what I should have been doing the whole time? I think I have a knack for it.
Lionel, I just got off the phone with David. She's okay. But he said that Joyce tried to kill herself.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Lionel looks away, then back at Sherry.
She's okay, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
He shakes his head.
I'll call him.
Lionel resumes typing. At the police station, Balserac and Gabrish approach their colleagues. A black cop steps away.
Thank you, guys. We're glad to be back on the force. Thank you for all your support. It's meant a lot. And it was nice to know that somebody has your back.
Elsewhere, Reverend Jackson rides in a car with a phone to his ear. Jacob rides beside him.
I appreciate the call, man. Yes, so do I.
Jackson hangs up.
What happened? Those two cops who let that Conorick boy go back to Jeffrey Dahmer. They've just been reinstated.
What? A slap on the wrist and that's it?
Mayor said they're gonna appeal the decision.
And if that fails?
Then we fought the next fight. And the next fight. And the next.
Audio description provided by International Digital Center. Written by Stephen Christopher. Voiced by Amanda Bruton. Credits. Directed by Greg Araki. Written by Ian Brennan and David McMillan. The title appears. Dahmer. Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Created by Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan. Starring Evan Peters, Richard Jenkins, Molly Ringwald, Michael Learned, and Niecy Nash. Executive producers Ryan Murphy, Ian Brennan, Alexis Martin Woodall, Eric Covton, Evan Peters, Janet Mock. Co-executive producers Scott Robertson, Sarah Stellwagen, Tanasi Popa, supervising producer David McMillan, consulting producer Rashad Robinson, producers Todd Nenninger, Lou Eyrich, Todd Kubrak, Riley Smith, Regis Kimball, Richard Jenkins. Produced by Matthew Hart. Co-producer Scott James. Associate producer Kathia Sanchez Aldana. Director of photography John Thomas Connor. Production designer Matthew Flood Ferguson. Edited by Stephanie Philo, ACE. Score composed and performed by Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. Casting by Robert J. Ulrich, CSA. Eric Dawson, CSA. Carol Kritzer, CSA. Copyright 2022 Netflix. Logos. Prospect Films. Ryan Murphy Television.
A red letter N unfolds into a spectrum of colors.